Imagine paying $5.39 a month or $8.99 a month to subscribe to Stephanie Jenkins just to have her sub-only videos just be a whole bunch of complaints, basically about everybody that comments on her stuff, complaining about everybody. We'll talk about that in 1 second. First, she put a post over on the FB, and she says, so many times people have told her to get rid of the PS5. And I know I myself have said it, get rid of that PS5, and. But she says she is so glad that she never did that. And she said, parents don't need to be told what to do by outsiders. And she shows a picture of the kids watching something on the TV, apparently through the PS5. So where that came from, I have no idea. Just another one of her weird kind of rants. So she did a sub-only. She did a sub-only video. No, it must have been a sub-only live. I don't know. I'll have to check. One or the other. It was for her subscribers only. Just put it that way. And the whole thing was just her complaining about everything. She's outside walking around in circles. She first talks about how people comment about her walking around in circles, and that's because she has anxiety. She says people are always complaining that she repeats herself, but we're all just repeating ourselves, asking her the same questions all the time, wanting different answers from her. You can tell she is in a mood from the get-go. You can tell she does not want to be making this. She doesn't want to be interacting with anybody. She was in a bad mood. And she says that people have told her over and over that we'd like her better if she had housing. But she doesn't know when that'll be. She said because, they've made plans and they continually fall through. So basically, they're not going to make no plans anymore. And she says that it could be another year or two that they're in this shelter before they get housing. They've already been there a year and a half. So you mean to tell me, Miss Thompson, you believe a year and you would be okay with being in this shelter for 3 to 4 years? I don't understand it. She says the only people that aren't mean and nasty about her are people that have actually been homeless and been in this situation, and the ones that reach out and tell her, yes, it does take years. But see, Stephanie can't grasp the fact that it would not take nearly as long if she would go get a job. That's all she's got to do is go get a job. Because if she had a verifiable, guaranteed income, they would have a much better chance of getting approved for somewhere. Social media is not a guaranteed income. You could make $500 this month, but only $100 next month. There's no way to tell. It all depends on your content, who's looking at it. How it goes. So, she's completely fine with that if it takes another year or two. I don't know how she's fine with it, but I don't know. Then she clicks off and she comes right back and she says, she's complaining basically about the kids, because you can hear the kids outside playing. You can hear the girls. She said she's tired of being interrupted, having to do everything for everybody else all the time. Whoa, those are your kids. That's part of being a parent. So I don't get it. And then she goes back to talking about this, being in the hotel for another year or two, and that's not because of a lack of effort, because she is trying every day. But we don't see her trying to get a job, to get out of that hotel, do we? No, we don't. She says she's tired of not putting out content. I don't know what's stopping her. I mean, she claims this is her way to support her family, and this is her job. So why is she neglecting it then and not putting content out? I don't understand. Then she wants to talk about people are always saying that, well, we're there for the children. We're there for the children. And she says, until what point? She says, when the children hit a certain age, people don't want to help them anymore because she was one of those children at one time. What? She says that people would have said, if they seen her growing up, they would have said, well, her parents weren't treating her right and they weren't doing right by her and they could have done so much better. But, people just gave up on her after a certain age. Because at a certain age, you just do it for yourself. You pull yourself up and do what you have to do. And she's claiming that hopefully by the time her children are grown, she'll have everything together. Hopefully it'll be a long time before that, but... And then she goes on, she starts talking about her mother. She said, people say, well, just go to your mother for help. And she says, that is not her mom. Even though she says it's her mom, that is not who she is to her. What does that mean? And Stephanie looked rough in this video, rough. Like she's been awake for 10 days. She looks so rough. And she says, she's working to provide for her kids. I would like to know how. How are you working to provide for your kids? So that's what this whole sub-only deal was. Her complaining about absolutely everything. Being interrupted. People telling her she needs to get housing. Plans falling through. And then I seen a clip somewhere. A clip I was looking at. And it was one of her sub-only like group things, And she says she blamed everything on Drew for them getting evicted from the one-bedroom apartment. She said she didn't know that they were in the mess they were in, and Drew couldn't tell her because he was embarrassed that he wasn't providing. Now, you can't tell me she didn't know that they were getting evicted and they were in that mess. You can't tell me that because Drew had no income. So how could she possibly think that Drew was paying the rent? She knew he had no income, so how did she think he was paying it? That doesn't make any sense. But she claims she didn't know because Drew didn't tell her they were in such a dire situation. So she didn't know until maybe a couple weeks before they got evicted. I don't believe it. What happened is she had went viral. So if there was any semblance of truth to that, why didn't Drew come to her and say, hey, you just got this couple $1,000 check for going viral. We need to pay this rent, because they were back behind on rent $2,000 and something. They could have easily covered that with her check from going viral, because she went viral in that October. They got evicted in February or March, so she could have paid that $2,000 some. What happened is they got that $2,000 some. They went wild because they hadn't seen any money like that for who knows how long. They went wild and they spent it all up and decided, we're not paying the rent. That's exactly how it went. I'm not buying her story that Drew didn't tell her, because she would have to know that it wasn't getting paid because he had no money coming in, because this was during his, I'm not working no W-2 job era, because I don't want people telling me what to do. So, yeah, imagine paying to be a subscriber, and it's just all complaining, basically, about her subscribers and everybody. Anybody that wants to see her do right by her kids, she complains about. And she seems to think if she gets in housing, that everybody's magically going to love her. No. I mean, it's going to make her look a little better, but she's not doing everything she can, and that's what's making her look so bad, because a true mother is going to do whatever they have to do to provide for their children. Nobody wants to work, but a mother would be like, damn, I got to get my children out of this filthy one room. Let me go to work and bank up some money so we can get out of here. And then, I mean, if you think you can afford that place after you get it, then quit working. If and only if the rent can be covered by just the one person and your little social media income. So I don't know. Did you catch the live? Did you catch her subscriber only? What did you think of it? I would be mad. I would not pay her to just listen to her complain and basically say what's wrong with everybody else except for her. Everybody else has a problem except for Miss Stephanie Thompson.